and welcome to Inside the Crease, a hockey podcast with me, Holden Worth. We're going to talk hockey, mainly focusing on the NHL playoffs, and we're going to break down the games from last night, where the standings are as we go into the games tonight. Couple things as we go in. One, I do not know everything about every team, so if I ever say something that might be a little wrong, or if I say something and you're like, actually, this is the case, you probably know more than me if that's your team. Other thing to this, hockey names can be tough. Very tough. I will do my best with all the names. I can promise you I will mess some up. So, excuse my pronunciation. I'll get better as we go, as I learn the names, as I practice them, and as you guys help me say them out loud. So, here we go. We are going to start with Rangers Penguins, Game 4 in Pittsburgh. Let's do this.
I like it. I love it. I want some more.
Okay, Rangers Penguins Game 4. Going into the series with the Penguins up 2-1. This game felt like a must-win for the Rangers. If I'm honest, the Rangers going into this game, you had lost the first one, then you won one, then you lost again. You got to keep that trend going. You got to steal a game in Pittsburgh because they stole a game in New York. Unfortunately, they were not able to do that. The Penguins take this one 7-2 in a little bit of a blowout. So let's look into what led to that blowout there. And I turn my attention first to the score sheet here, and the second period stands out big time. The Penguins scored 5 goals in the second period. 5 of their 7 came in that second period. Going into the second period, it was a tie game. It was 1-1, even game. Penguins scored 5 goals in the second period. And it was really a tale of the tape, this Rangers team. I mean, you have a tie game going to the second. Penguins score right out of the gate, 3 minutes in. You're like, all right, we can turn this around. And they score again, not even a minute later. That is harsh, and I think that really hit hard on these Rangers players. I think that really stuck with them. And the Pittsburgh scores again later. So you're at that breaking point in this game where we're down by 2 goals now. We're down by 2. We need the next one, and then Pittsburgh scores the next one. And then you get a lifeline as Fox scores a nice goal to bring you guys kind of back into this game, back into it, saying, okay, you have a shot. Let's get one more before the period ends, and then we're in this, and then the backbreaker happens. Pittsburgh scores again, and then just to add insult to injury, they score one more time. You come back out, and I got to be thinking for the third period, the guys are like, okay, let's have one good period. Let's win this last period so we go back to New York. Headstrong, Evgeny Malkin says no. Nice backhand top shelf. How do you like your top shelf? I like mine with my jams. And Malkin says, see you in New York. We win this period. So 7-2. Things are not looking good for the Rangers after this game. Tough game for Igor in net, really tough. A couple of the goals were just nice tips in front that he doesn't have a chance of. But in the playoffs, you need your goalie to stand up sometimes and make some plays. You also need your defense to not let the other team get tips. So if you're the Rangers, you need to turn some things around in the defensive zone. You really need to block off the players right in front of the net. If we look at the shot chart, which is a really cool thing on hockeyreference.com, the shot chart for the Rangers and the Penguins, if you look at the Rangers side, their 2 goals are both above the hash marks. They're both scored above the hash marks, distance shots, a nice shot, but kind of not where you want to be shooting. You want the majority of your shots to come inside the hash marks, right up close, slapping those rebounds, getting up tight, making a move on the goalie, being in a place where the goalie doesn't have time to react to your shot. So the spray chart for the Penguins is exactly what you want to see. I mean, so many shots underneath the hash marks, and of their 7 goals, you've got 4 of them below the hash marks, 3 of them right in front of the crease, which is where you want to live, especially in the playoffs. You want to be gritty, you want to get in there, you want to score your goals in front of the crease. And the Penguins did that, scoring tips, getting in front, doing their thing. Another thing the Penguins did well is they capitalized on a power play. In the playoffs, the thing that stands out to me a lot when teams win a series is who scored on the power play. And in this game, Penguins took advantage of one of their power plays. The Rangers did not. Rangers had no power play goals. And I know it's, 5-goal deficit, but a power play goal does a lot for you. You're a man up. You get 2 minutes. With a man up, you got to capitalize at least once a game. And the Penguins did that. This series, as we go forward, it feels. It doesn't feel this way. Every game going forward is must win for the Rangers. Now, you have the advantage in the next game. You're going home. Your backs are against the wall. Who are you as a team? What can you do? This is your time. You must turn it around. You must go into New York, and you got to win. And you got to take this one game at a time. You can no longer think, like, okay, we got to take one of these two or this and that. We're focused on this game. We don't care about Game 6. We don't care about Game 7. We're winning Game 5. If you're the Penguins, you have to have the same mindset. The Pittsburgh Penguins cannot be thinking right now, we're good, we'll let it slide in New York, and we'll win it when we're back in Pittsburgh. No. If you are the Penguins, you are trying to put your foot on their throats and end this game in New York tomorrow night. You are trying to win. You are trying to win big. You are trying to come out of the gates in the first period and smack the Rangers down. Looking at the series going forward, Carolina and Boston, where the winner of this series will go to, they're tied 2-2. So they need at least 2 more games to decide that series, and it's been pretty even. I wouldn't be surprised if they need 7. So if you're the Penguins and you can win in Game 5, you can get some nice rest up your older guys, Crosby and Malkin, keep them fresh as they continue to dominate in this series, and be ready for that next round. If you can end this one early, you have a big advantage to go into that next round. And every year in the hockey playoffs, when we look at what team really has the best chance to win, a lot of times the team that got the most rest. You can get an early round sweep. We're going to look at this later with the Avalanche, but an early round sweep or an early round gentleman's sweep or a second round sweep, anywhere in there, if you can get more rest than the other team, and you have to play teams that are going into multiple overtime games and multiple 7-game series, those teams are dead. They're tired. They want to rest, and you did get to rest. You got to sleep in your bed. You got to relax. You got to kind of take it cool for a couple days, which really helps the longer your run in the playoffs is. So if the Penguins want to make a big run, which they definitely do, this is the game to do it tomorrow night. Win the game. Now, looking at the players of this game and who stands out in this series so far, from the game itself, Sidney Crosby took over this game. They were down 1-0 early, the Penguins, and Sidney Crosby said, I'm having none of that. I'm an experienced player. I know what to do. It's the power play. We're scoring. And then he said, let me just get 2 assists right away in the third period on both of the goals that kind of iced this game. One being the game-winning goal, and he now leads the playoffs in assists, I believe. I had that stat somewhere, and now I have lost it, but there it is. Yep, with 7. So he has the most assists, and you might not be surprised to find that his buddy, his line mate, Jake Gensel, leads the playoffs in goals with 5. So they're on the same line. If Crosby getting the assist, someone's scoring them, and it's Gensel. So, if you're the Rangers in Game 5, I think you have 2 things that you need to focus on. Number 1 is, who do you like defensively against Crosby? Is it Fox? Is it... Who plays a lot of time for them defensively besides Fox? Is it Miller? Is it Trouba? Who's your guy? Lock up defensively, Rangers. Rangers fans, who do you want out there? Because you need at all times in Game 5 somebody, your best defenseman, on Crosby. You cannot let him take over another game like he did here, because he has the capabilities at 34 years old to be the best player on the ice at any time. And he will win that Game 5. He knows the importance. He knows everything I talked about earlier. He's well aware of the playoffs and what you need to do. So you need to shut him down. And the other thing is you have to score goals. looking at this series, it's been a goal fest a little bit. And there have been two games where a team scored two goals, and this game being one of them, most recent. You're not going to win a playoff game with two goals. So the Rangers were really good at not giving up goals in the regular season. They've not been as good in the playoffs. Pittsburgh only has one game where they scored under three, which is not great. So you might want a goaltender change for game five. That's kind of a tough decision. You go either way. Do you trust your guy? Do you trust Igor and keep him in there? Or do you say, you know what? We just can't do that after last game? It's back-to-back games with 7 goals giving up, so it might be time for a goalie switch, and then, you kind of watch it. You watch every moment of it, but that'll be an interesting game to watch. If I had to predict it, I think I'd say Pittsburgh wins that game in New York. I think Crosby and Malkin and all those guys for Pittsburgh, Letang, they know the importance of an early round quick victory. They know the importance of rest. They know the importance of removing all hope from a team, and them being the lower seed and knowing that they're going to have a tough matchup in the next round. I think Pittsburgh goes into New York. I think they jump ahead early, and I think they don't look